Is it a flathead? Is that the issue?
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, really.
Now you're lying.
Do you mean like a double chin? Is that what you're talking?
No, I don't have a double chin. I don't have a double chin. Do I? But I'm just saying, like, this angle, I like this, it feels funky. Like, I look funky. I have, like, a funky look.
Do you want to change spots again?
Well, somehow we did this. We used to be that way.
No, I always sat in that chair. I've always sat to your left.
I don't think so.
Just put the camera over here. I don't give a crap.
Okay, hold on. We're going to change the camera. I don't like this angle of me.
You're such a diva.
Wow.
Are you okay, diva? Did you get your correct camera angle?
Oh, wow, that's not cool. Are you ready?
I don't know. Does my hair look good? Because now I got to worry about it because the camera's over here. About your flat head?
Well, you called it flat. I don't think I had a flat head. Now I'm a little insecure about my flat head, which you lied about. But I don't have a flat head. It's just...
Well, you have a divot.
All right, well, we might be back in a few minutes. I don't know.
You and me, we got this. Gonna take some practice. Superpower oneness. We are marriaging. Oh, oh.
Wonder Twin Powers activate.
We are marriaging.
All right, now that we're ready, my name is Ricky.
I'm Nova. And this is Marriaging. Episode 26. Right?
I don't know. It's my flat head. It's hard to tell. Do I have a flat head, you guys? Don't comment. We've been in a series the last 3 weeks, and we're calling it what?
The Great Giveaway.
Called The Great Giveaway.
And it sounds like we're giving things away, but I mean, we
We're-
are, but we're not.
That's very profound, babe. Is that what non-flatheads think about? So
Oh my
we're giving
goodness.
away advice, encouragement.
Yeah, some treasures.
We want to start this episode out on the Great Giveaway with a real simple question. If you could go back to your 16-year-old self, what would you tell 16-year-old Nova? I read this person put this out online. I don't know who this is. So if you wrote this is pretty funny. She's an author and she wrote, take really good care of your skin. Would you tell yourself that? Your 16-year-old self?
You definitely, yeah.
All the money you have been saving, save it. You don't need another $6 latte. That's funny. It's true. Don't be enticed to open up too many credit cards. We talked about that last week.
Yes.
If you missed it, go back. Don't stay with somebody because you're lonely and afraid to be yourself. Oh, that's good, right? Take yourself out to breakfast. It's a great way to start a day. That's pretty cool.
That's a good one. I want to do that like tomorrow.
Yourself?
Yeah.
No, I think you should, babe.
I
You
think
should.
being by yourself can be really cool.
Yeah, I don't like being by myself. Okay, cherish the time.
It's flathead people.
Cherish the time you have with your siblings. You would agree.
Yes.
Your coffee addiction is only going to get worse.
I didn't drink coffee until I was like
addiction
30 or something,
is
though.
It's only going to get worse. That's what you. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have your heart broken lots. That's true. You
That's
aren't
depressing.
Fat. I know, but it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
She says you're not fat. You're athletic.
You're not fat, you're husky.
Oh, I hated being called husky. I had to wear husky clothes, when I was in 6th grade.
Aww.
I know there was husky and slim, and all my friends were slims, but I had
And
a
you were
flat
husky?
head. Yeah.
Husky and a flathead.
Yeah. At some point, you have to realize that you're an adult and you have to be responsible for your own actions. Follow your dreams. Stop listening to the doubters. Laugh, cry, dance. Yeah, you're awesome. Yep. So that's what that author would tell herself. Here's the way I thought that was a cool way to start this episode.
Okay.
Is because you could go back and tell yourself something. It's obviously things that we've learned, things that, ways that you would redirect yourself to avoid
Yeah.
pain, to maybe
Press into the pain.
press into the pain, but not repeat history, change it, right? So you can learn from history, but then here's how you can change it. And that's why we would go back in time and tell our 16-year-old self that. 2 weeks ago, we talked about how we wanted to be perceived when we passed, what we wanted, the legacy, if you will,
yeah.
what we would want to hear at our funeral about ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Which was kind of morbid, but
Kinda.
kind of cool to think about, right?
Like, and our kids will always be able to be like, I gotta look up that marriage jinx. I'll just say that at their funeral.
Exactly. So
Morbid. But
weird, but really, like, how do you want to be perceived? So
yeah. How do you want to be known?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And that's good to think about, right?
It
we have to think
is
about that.
because every single day we walk through this life and we're definitely leaving an impression
Right.
wherever we go.
That's true. And then last week we talked about just finances.
Yeah,
and
money and the money
right?
mindset.
And what you're leaving, how you're
Yeah.
spending what you have now, and how that will dictate where you end up, right? So that was the legacy, the financial legacy, if you will. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What you're
And the
leaving
mindset
behind.
of money in general
And changing it to how am I spending money to having the proper mindset
Yeah.
is what you said, right?
yeah.
And then tonight I thought, let's like talk it out what
Okay.
we want to tell our kids about life, because essentially what we tell our 16-year-old self is what we would want to tell our children, right? Okay, what's one thing you would tell yourself? Just one thing.
Honestly, I would tell myself to take a compliment. Because I remember I didn't know how to do that even when you met me.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. You would say like, no. Are you?
Isn't that
say, you
weird?
look hot. Your hair looks amazing. Or say, well, I don't like this dress. Or you would.
Yeah,
it would be a
deflect.
negative, always with every positive to
Yeah.
cancel it out. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But you've gotten significantly better at that.
Yeah, but like at 16, I was really bad.
At that.
Yeah. When you're communicating with other people, if you say those things to me, you really believe them, so you're saying them genuinely. But for me to reject that, it's kind of like rejecting you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of works both ways with the giver and the person receiving. It's like, you know what? That's how that person sees you. So take the compliment and say thank you. You don't have to drink the perfume. You can smell it.
Okay, hold on. This is going in quotations right here on the bottom. Don't drink your own perfume, just smell it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So you don't have to get a big head.
I would tell my 16-year-old self to, well, first of all, I would say don't wait until you're 19 to submit your life to Jesus, because I waited until I was 19. So that's a given. But I would also tell my 16-year-old self, don't make yourself the center. What did you always tell me? You always said something about like when I would make fun of myself as humor.
Oh, yeah. Like, don't make yourself the center of your joke, right?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I would always like kind of put myself down as a way of being funny, and you said that's not good. That makes
Yeah.
you feel like you're not confident.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would tell my 16-year-old self to stop.
But that
doing
was kind of like your crew of guys and what you guys did, but it was kind of like just this way
crew.
of behaving
Yeah.
that I was like, not attractive. My 16-year-old self, I would tell her to don't think so much about yourself. I think I was a little obsessed if I was okay or not in this world, if I was accepted, if I was loved, if people liked me, if I was enough, or I was good enough, or smart enough, and then also I would tell myself, take a chill pill. Like, don't be so stressed out. Like, I was so stressed at 16. Stress case. Amazing quote that I just read. If there's a hill in front of you, like pausing to climb it doesn't make it any less steep.
Ooh.
So if there's hard things in life, like waiting, do I, should I, even though you want to, pausing on it won't make the hill get any less steep. You're just wasting time.
We want to tell our kids that. That's a cool thing to tell our
Yeah.
kids. Like, hey,
Yeah.
heed this warning or heed this advice, this direction.
Mm-hmm.
If you're faced with a hill, the longer you sit and look at the hill does not make it any less steep. That's good. Boom. Here's one that I was thinking. Shortcuts, like we've taught them that, but I just would want to say this, and I'd want to say it to Ricky at 16 too, if I could go back. I would say, Ricky, at 16-year-old Ricky, don't take shortcuts. I would tell our kids, I'd want to leave them this advice, right?
Yeah.
Don't take shortcuts, because there's no such thing as shortcuts.
There isn't.
anything that's worth it is going to take hard work.
Yeah, it's true. The one time I took a shortcut in high school, I got caught. One time, like for real. One time.
Okay, so I took a lot of shortcuts. I kind of cheated a lot in high school, and
I cheated one time.
you got caught.
I got caught.
I was such a good cheater.
And I felt like such a jerk. And it was just because I was like, I feel
Wait,
lazy.
what subject? What subject?
I don't want to talk about it.
Come
it's too
on.
painful.
Come
No,
on.
I'm not saying.
Come on.
I'm not telling
That's
you.
lame.
I think it might have been English. Yeah.
Did you put a? How do you take shortcuts in English?
Don't ask any more questions.
Wow. Okay, babe. We'll get some counseling.
Yeah.
That's deep. Okay.
But truly, like I would tell myself, no matter what, don't take the shortcut. It doesn't work out. It just doesn't.
We are kind of doing, here's what we'd say to our 16-year-old self or our kids. However, here's also what we'd say before we got married to ourselves. Think about that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Don't take shortcuts.
Don't take shortcuts. If you think that there's an easy way around getting to know your spouse or an easy way around pulling your weight in the marriage or an easy way around communication. Whatever.
Or an easy way to be like, everything's great, perfect, padded walls. It's just like,
We'll just pretend.
We'll just pretend. That is terrible. So I would tell myself no emotional shortcuts.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shortcuts in us getting to know each other. Like, we actually have to dig deep, and it's really hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else I would tell myself, like the newly married self, is as soon as you know something, how you're feeling, tell them. Like, don't sit on it.
Be more aware. I think that's it. Just be more aware when something's bothering you, so you can communicate, because the longer you keep it in, the harder it's going to be to communicate, and the more difficult it will be to overcome it.
Yeah,
right?
It definitely is. I would definitely say that I would want myself to understand that. The young Ricky Nova, if we didn't get invited to something, it's just, it's not, because that happens, especially now with this generation. Everybody's on social media and they're like, how come we weren't invited? If you're not invited, don't take it so personal. You might not be the first thing on everybody else's mind.
Well, I mean, I find that hard to believe.
I mean, right?
When everybody wakes up tomorrow morning, they're not thinking about Ricky and Nova.
They're not. They're thinking, I have to go to the bathroom.
That's true. What else would we tell ourselves?
I would say learn to forgive as quick as you can.
Forgive faster?
Yeah. Like, don't hold on to things and then like just replay them in your head. Learn the discipline of acknowledging and feeling it and then releasing the person. If you learn that early in life to forgive easily, you'll just be better off. It's not fun to be around unforgiving people who just can't get past it. And there are things that I know for sure, like I have struggled with not being able to get past, and it has been work, and I think it's been harder work because I didn't even know what forgiveness really looked like too early on into our marriage. I don't think. I think I was like, I would like let things be like, you're out of my life, bye, and then I would move on. And it wasn't like I forgave. I was just like, I'm out of here. Like, you're in my past. And that wasn't healthy. So I would tell that younger person to learn about forgiveness and what it does to you.
That's good.
And your insides.
I would tell younger Ricky and Nova, our 16-year-old Ricky, are our children.
Yeah.
I would say to them what I learned when I was 28 years old by a mentor that really changed my life, Dick Myers. And he said to me,
now I'm going to cry.
Yeah, he was awesome. He told me when I was 28 years old, he said, Ricky, he goes, I'm going to tell you something, this might hurt your feelings.
Which, how cool is it that an admiral wanted to hang out with you all the time and took you out to breakfast?
Well, I mean,
he's just so cool. But you're so cool.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I was thinking the exact opposite. Like, how cool was it that I hung out with an admiral? That's he was pretty lucky. But he said to me, Ricky, this is gonna hurt your feelings maybe, but you'll figure it out one day. He goes, you know nothing until you turn 50. As soon as you turn 50, then I would say, okay, you know a few things.
We should have started marrying in October.
I turned 50 in October. That's just So hey, here's the tip for
Sorry.
you.
I'm not going to talk for like 5 more years.
She doesn't turn 50 for a while. So just a
4 years.
Pro tip. shut this off and pick it up again in October.
What I would say to us is ask as many questions as you
That's a
can.
good one.
Learn as much as you can from people like the Dick Meyers of the world. Open your eyes and see the treasures of people's wisdom and
That's good.
drink it in. Write more thank you notes.
Man, that's good. I'm terrible at writing thank you notes. Sorry,
But
Mom.
like I mean, honestly,
I'm terrible.
I've gone in like spaces where I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm on this, and then I kind of drop off if I don't have note cards. But I think too, Ricky, like I would say, take correction.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That when, even in your young us as young marrieds, like when someone approached us on maybe something we weren't, don't throw it out, but go, you know what, they're older and wiser, maybe they have something here, and we need to like kind of sift through that. So, don't be so quick to be like, I got this.
Yeah. I think the idea here is start thinking and maybe even recording those things
Yeah.
that you want to say to your younger married self, which eventually is going to be your young married kids, really,
Yeah.
right? And,
Yeah.
and maybe you don't have kids, your young married friends or young people, and this is like wisdom. There's a book in the Bible called Proverbs, and basically it's a really old, depressed king who's made some really poor choices. He had, anything you can even think or imagine, God gave him because of his wisdom. And then it got to his head and he took advantage of it, and he became ungrateful and he became self-centered, and he squandered all of that. But at the end of his life, he writes wisdom for people. It's called Proverbs. And that's kind of what we're getting at here.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want to leave behind? What does Nova and Ricky want to leave behind is we want to leave some nuggets that we learned. Because if we just learned them for us just to have them and then we go, it's a waste of learning. We're actually going to put a bow on this because we could keep going.
I know.
Maybe we will. Maybe we'll have another episode of this. But for now, there's something that my wife has done, and we're gonna teach you how to do that because I think it's really, really of value. This is that time that we come to our show that we call
Doing some homework, 'cause it's homework time. Homework, oh, homework time. Okay, so homework. It's homework time. So this is one very simple thing. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy, and it takes a little bit of discipline. So the night before both my children were born, I wrote them both a letter, and then consequently every night before their next birthday, I write them a letter. So you can see Shiloh 4. And usually I'm writing in these letters, the highs and the lows that I saw in their life as their mother, share what I saw in them, what I saw in their personalities and what came out, some scriptures that were really important that year, or maybe they're, a verse that had been on our hearts as a family. It's basically like I am so glad you were born, and here's to another year. But neither of them has. Well, now they will see it on Marriaging. I think Elisha knows that I've been writing these letters. He found out a few years ago. But they're all sealed. I can't even look at them. Elisha actually gets married one day. And Shiloh's never getting married, so she's going to have letters for the rest of her life.
40, 50,
whatever.
60,
Doesn't
60
matter.
letters.
When he gets married, I will give him all his sealed letters. And
Pretty awesome.
maybe I will take him out on a date before his wedding and read them to him, which will be a lot of snot and tears. But this is something that I really wanted to give to my children, and God gave me the idea before Elisha was born. If you have kids or you're even planning to have kids, you might even start writing a letter to, your kids that you don't have yet.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, babe, because I love that you do this, and she's the writer. You're such a good writer, and I'm not. So that's okay. I don't have to be.
Yeah.
You can also do a video library instead of a written letter. But this is what I love that you did, because every year stuff happens and we forget. And then that year goes on and we forget. And this captured a lot of it. And I was thinking about people that, we have some friends that are, middle-aged and they don't have kids. They have nieces and nephews and stuff. But what if those of you that are married that you don't have kids, and maybe you're not planning on having kids, or you can't have kids, you're gonna just be the two of you. It's great. How about every night before your birthday, you write yourself a letter of all the amazing things you learned, like what you just said, the highs and the lows.
Like if you're not a journal or whatever, but you just like
Just write a letter.
Yeah, you just write a letter.
And then you tuck that aside. Somebody's going to read that after you're gone. It's going to be your spouse, if they're still around,
Yeah.
or your auntie, your uncle,
Yeah.
your cousin, somebody, or maybe just a friend is going to read
It's
that.
kind of, that's a really cool thought, because like, what if somebody just happens to come upon your letter, your life story, and like, what if that changed the trajectory of their life? Like if you
Absolutely.
give that's
So this is what we're
awesome.
leaving behind. This
Yeah.
is what you're leaving
Yeah.
behind to our kids. This year's birthday in 2020 is going to be crazy. You're going to want to write it down, because
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right
I'm
now,
gonna start like probably a week before. Like usually
Yeah.
I write it the night before, but sometimes it gets a little crazy. So this year I might just start writing it like a week before, because
there's a lot to talk about this year.
so much.
So that's your homework.
Yeah.
And the outcome is going to be either your kids or somebody you love or somebody you don't love. You just don't even know yet. They will be changed by the words you leave behind. That's what King Solomon left his words behind. And I'm going to tell you, King Solomon's like 4,000 years ago, maybe, right? Roughly. And his words have changed the trajectory of my life. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've heeded his warning.
Yeah, I listen to a proverb a day.
you go.
Yeah.
There's 31 proverbs, by the way, so there's one for every day of the month, no matter what month it is, which is pretty cool.
That's really cool.
So that's another thing you can do if you're looking for something to do.
Yeah.
But we thought we'd end tonight's episode telling our kids some nuggets, some wisdom that we want to leave with them. But I want you to know this, Shiloh, whether I'm still here physically on this earth or not. I want you to marry a man who loves Jesus more than he loves you. He will always put his relationship with the Lord above yours, which will make his relationship with yours amazing. Know that you are worth it. You're worth it. So don't settle for second best. Settle for the best. God has the best for you. And I want to tell you, you're beautiful. Your heart is even more beautiful than your physical beauty, which is stunning. People stop us on the street and they admire your physical beauty, but your heart is even more beautiful. God made you empathetic. He made you a warrior. You don't quit. You go after it. And keep going after it. Don't stop going after it. Don't let anybody talk you out of pursuing what you know the Lord has called you to do. Listen to the Lord and pursue it. He'll give you the desires of your heart. I want to tell you this. I don't want to say you can do whatever you want. I don't believe that. I mean, I don't believe you can jump off a 2-story building and fly. You can't do whatever you want, because sometimes we want to do things that are unreasonable and unrealistic. But I'll tell you this much. You can do whatever the Lord calls you to do, but you got to spend time with him to hear that and know that. That's what I'm going to tell you. Spend time with the Lord every day. Listen to his word. Read his word. Spend time talking to him. He loves you. He loves you more than mommy. He loves you more than daddy. And I'm going to tell you, you are a gift. You are the daughter that we prayed for and the sister that your brother prayed for many, many years. And our hearts were broken year after year after year because we didn't have you. And we finally have you. Man, that was quite the amazing day. So I want to tell you those things. There's a million other things that I can tell you, but those are the top of my mind. And so that's what I'm going to leave you.
That's really good. Well, I think, because Elisha, you are 19, almost 20, you have become quite the man. And so I would say to you also, I think you said this to Shiloh, but it rings true when you're 19, 20 and moving into this next stage of your life where you're in college and you're learning about friendships more deeply, love and whatnot. And I would just say to you, never settle. Listen to the Lord. I want you to feel for your future spouse the way Daddy and I feel about one another. So that is my dream for you, is to just listen to the Lord on that. Really just never settle, because it's a huge decision. Your future, there's some really big decisions, and I would tell you to keep pursuing the Lord. Keep close to his heart, and always, if I'm not around to ask you, ask yourself, how's your heart? How's my heart? you are an adventurer, and you need to continue to be an adventurer. Now there are things and disciplines that you're gonna have to like really press into those things, but I never want you to lose your heart for being an adventurer and a creative and continuing to see things from the angle that other people may not see them from. And I would say to you, never quiet your voice because you think you might offend someone. Be willing to speak up when it's not the popular thing to say. And you've done that, but I never want you to quit doing that. I'd tell you to continue to surf and get in the ocean, and that's where you feel really connected to God. And so I'd say don't give that up. I would say to you to forgive people for being just human, and forgive yourself for being human. And you're gonna make mistakes, and it's okay. Like we all do. So, forgive yourself and laugh, and don't take yourself too seriously. Laugh it off and see the light side of things and the bright side of things, and think best case scenario.
So that's why she writes the letters. That's so good. That's good. Thanks for letting us pontificate and share our hearts.
We hope that you guys can sit together and have these conversations. Like really, sometimes you just don't know what to say to your spouse, and we hope that our conversations help you start your conversations. That this is just we're just opening up a can of worms for you to just go, let's talk about this. And we really pray that you guys will continue to marriage with us, and then that you will tell your friends about marriaging, and have a small group that talks about marriaging topics.
Absolutely.
That this would be a new day for you, and learn to continue to love each other and learn about each other.
Yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, would you guys do us a huge favor and just subscribe? Because what happens when you subscribe is everybody in your network then finds out about it. And really, we're not doing this to make money. There's absolutely no money being made in this show. But we're
Zero.
doing it because we want to speak into marriages.
Yeah.
So we want to say thank you. We want to say we love you. And we want to say, go and have great sex tonight if you're married.